Good morning, every day.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Rev Ann Rea, in case you forgot since last week or the week before. And it is my pleasure, my privilege, my joy to be in service with you today and to celebrate all the reasons there are to celebrate. Because there's always lots of reasons to celebrate. Isn't that right, Deanna Joy?
Yes.
Blessings abound this morning.
Yes.
Denise and I were doing a reading together, as is our practice every day, and this morning, and one of the words that showed up in this reading was felicitous. And of course, some of us are too young to remember what felicitous means, or didn't have it come up at school more recently. But felicitous is a happy blessing. Sorry. You should have paid attention to where you were flying. But he's okay. He just bounced off. He's all right. Even he had a felicitous happening. In the Old Testament, there is a story that includes the description of travel at that time. And most of it was on foot. Most people traveled on foot. They did not have transport animals. And so most people traveled very long distances on foot. And they would continue traveling at night if they could. And what enabled them to travel at night were candles strapped to their ankles. That's what lit the way. And so this phrase, "the way is lit before you," refers to those times when people couldn't rely on things like headlights or street lights. Yesterday, Denise and I were visiting a neighborhood that it was quite a ways before we got to where there were any street lights. You were actually pretty close to the main road before you got to where there were any street lights. And there are many neighborhoods like that here in Santa Fe where there are no street lights and it's dark. Now, that is both a comment on the status, because it's a fact that it's dark, and it's also an opportunity because the stars that you can see when you're in that kind of dark. And when we think of being in the dark, when we feel like we may be in the dark, like we may not know where our next step is or our next turn is, we forget to look up. We forget. In fact, it is the habit of many of us to look down. when we're feeling in the dark, and not down in an inward way, but in down in sadness, down in the loneliness that Denise spoke of in her reading. Like I don't know where to go. I'm feeling lost. We forget to look up. Bless you on the truth. We forget to look at that blanket of stars that is just there waiting for our noticing. I'm sure that the stars have other purposes than waiting for our noticing. But that is the only purpose that I've discovered so far, is the stars wait for our noticing. What else in our life is waiting for our noticing? What other blessings? What other felicitous goodness is waiting for our noticing that's there all the time already? Now, felicitous goodness can be a surprise, like Kimberly walking in this morning. And the reason that I got teary when I started to talk about Kimberly being here when Carol and I were doing our shtick is because I cannot say how long it's been since we've seen each other. Not because I can't speak the words, but because it has been so long. I can't put a number to it. But does it matter?
No.
Does it matter?
No.
Waiting for our noticing. Waiting for our noticing. You know, I think of those people who were journeying. Men, women, children, many of them probably being carried or wrapped in some way so that they could be carried in the dark, walking on dirt or sand or whatever the road happened to be, with candles strapped to their ankles. You know, we thought that those tie things that went up the leg were just for show. I think they're called Greek sandals or something. But they actually held a candle when you needed it to, because you were walking in the dark. Now, the other thing that's interesting about knowing that they thought of this enablement, I'll call it, this tool that they could use to walk in the dark, to light their way, is, and something that we can all take to mind and chew on a little bit, is that the candle light only lit about 3 feet ahead of them. So how many people in this room have ever walked a labyrinth? Oh, quite a few. Okay, great. Well, a labyrinth, for those of you who haven't or don't know, is, among other things, because it's also a kind of a puzzle. But the labyrinth that I'm speaking of, that is used as a spiritual practice, and there are many here in Santa Fe, that people can just walk at any time, where you don't need to make special arrangements. The only real way to walk a labyrinth is to pay attention to where you are. Because if you start looking ahead too far, it's very easy because the paths are adjacent. The pattern and the patterning is adjacent. And so it's very easy, if you're looking too far ahead, to get confused about your lane. Now, most of you have heard me talk about your lane before. And there's no end to the times that you will hear me talk. Because it is an ongoing process for us to recognize what our lane is and to recognize when we're out of it and in someone else's lane, thinking that we know better what should, one of my favorite words, what should be happening, the choices that should be made. The only way to stay on the path, whether you have a candle strapped to your ankle or you're on a labyrinth or you're in your daily life, is to pay attention to where you are. And then look just a footfall in front of you, which means a step. Just look a footfall in front of you and see where the logical next step is. It's not there. It's not out there. It's not in Albuquerque. It's not in LA. At least not right this minute. Right this minute, it is here. Right here. Right now. That kind of presencing of bringing ourselves fully into the moment opportunes us of all that is available in this moment. And the thing is, until we start to unwrap this moment, we have no idea. It's just another moment. We should be so lucky as to live many of those just another moments that we actually immersed ourselves in, filled ourselves up with, gave all we had before we moved on to the next. This takes thoughtfulness. Can you imagine in those early days walking in the pitch black with a candle tied to your ankle as your only way of seeing forward? I don't know about you, but I would have been careful. Right? Because anything could have been beyond 3 feet. There could have been an unexpected turn. There could have been an edge. Anything could have been beyond 3 feet. And it is indeed such a rich invitation to us to be where we are. Not imagining an hour from now. So y'all come back. Not thinking about what didn't get done yesterday, and probably isn't going to get done today either. Speaking for myself. Eckhart Tolle is best known, I would say, for his book, Be Here Now. Oh no, that wasn't Eckhart Tolle, that was Ram Dass. Right?
Right.
But Eckhart Tolle wrote that other Now book.
Power of Now.
Power of Now. Thank you. There's lots of books about lots of things. And I wonder, what good are they if we don't pay attention in the moment to the information that is being offered to us and is right there for our acceptance, is right there for our recognition. Because we are so busy thinking about what's next. And then what's after that? Yeah. And maybe what's after that? Are we ever really present? When we're sitting with a friend having coffee, are we present? Are we listening? Are we looking in their eyes? Are we making space in us for what they're feeling? How far beyond where the candlelight takes us are we actually living? And is it living? In my mind, living is about presence.
Yeah.
Because if we aren't present, then what are we?
Absent.
Absent. And I don't think we mean to be absent. I don't think that this is intentional. I think it's a habit.
Yeah.
We don't mean to be absent. We mean to be present. We intend to be connecting. We intend to be noticing. We intend, it's like I said about looking up at the stars and just taking in that wonder. We intend to be present, to take in the wonder. Don't we?
Yes.
5 of us intend to be present, to take in the wonder.
Yes.
Where are the rest of you going to be? It makes such a difference. It makes such a difference No matter what our life is like in this moment, no matter what stories we want to tell each other about our past, which is really not this moment. Not this moment. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it doesn't count. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying that we should disregard it. What I am saying is it is not now.
Mm-hmm.
We hear it every day. Hold as a tenet of truth that we are new every day. Exactly. Wow. I like that affirmation, Barbara. Thank you. We're new every day, and we didn't make it up. Science affirms it. We are new every day. You know, you have such a sense of humor. And yet, these stories that we haul around in our little red wagons of the past. And it doesn't matter if it's a story from a long time ago or a story from yesterday, it is nonetheless a story.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you are walking on a path where you can only see 3 feet in front of you, and mind you, you can't really see 3 feet in front of you, because what we think now is seeing 3 feet in front of us is being able to see the whole picture, right?
Yeah.
Being able to see peripherally, being able to see like top to bottom, being able to see side to side, being able to see the whole picture. When all you have is a candle tied to your ankle, you cannot see the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Not that I've tried it to make sure. But I imagine, I know how far the incandescence of a candle flame will, how the distance that covers. Like when power goes out in the house and you light some candles, it only goes so far. Fortunately, in your house, you know where you're going, but when you're on the open road, you don't necessarily know where you're going. So you have to wait. You have to wait. You have to wait and take that step in trust, and then take the next step in trust, and have it be enough. Have it be enough. There are many people who would argue that, quote unquote, at this time in their life, they are in a hurry because they don't know how much time they have left. My guess is they've always been in a hurry. It really doesn't have anything to do with how much time they have left. They have always felt, this is my guess, I'm making stuff up, I admit it. They've always felt pushed by life. But that is not what life does. Our parental memory can do that. Can it not?
Mm-hmm.
If we had a parent or parents who were very insistent that we work hard and we apply ourselves and we make good use of our time and we make sure that we don't waste a moment because that moment you can never get back. Well, that's true. But you can't get it back either way.
Mm-hmm.
And if wasting a moment becomes confused with fun, becomes confused with play, becomes confused with innocently relaxing and enjoying the world around you, then the message is out of balance. Because as nature would have it in this one life that expresses itself so magnificently through all things, including us, as nature would have it, we're actually here to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like walking around the room right now and looking all of you in the eye and saying that to your face very closely and saying we're actually here to enjoy life. And you know the thing about enjoying life? I know people in this room who can, if asked, give testimony to what it really means to enjoy life, regardless of circumstances, regardless of conditions, regardless of anything that looks like an exception. Because they don't get confused. They don't get confused about the circumstances or the condition defining them. They don't get confused about the circumstances or the condition being the one exception to the rule. When there are no exceptions.
Right.
Everyone, when standing in what appears to be the dark, can look up and take in that wonder. And that is enjoying life. We don't need a certain ingredient. We don't need a certain something or a certain someone, a certain connection, a certain whatever it is to be the difference. We are the ones to be the difference.
Mm-hmm.
We are the ones to be the difference in our own life experience, and no one else can do it. We can offer our support, we can offer our joy, we can offer our irrepressibleness, we can offer many things to other people, but we cannot fix it so that they will enjoy and they will take pleasure and they will choose to be in the moment. We cannot do it. And if we are depending on someone else getting their act together so that then we can be happy, that's not going to happen either. Yep. I said it. It's not going to happen. There's been no agreement about that. That's our idea of their responsibility. And it's ridiculous. They don't have any idea about that being their responsibility. They didn't say yes to that. They didn't say yes to devoting themselves to our peace of mind and happiness. Even if they said they love us. We cannot, and better not, assume that that carries that promise as well. We are all responsible for our own happiness, for our own presencing of our awareness and of our engagement in life. We are all responsible, our own selves. And as part of that responsibility, we are the vessels through which Spirit expresses. And it will express however we decide to show up. Mm-hmm. Not it shows up and then we express. It has already shown up. Now we get to decide what that looks like, how it feels, what it pays attention to, and how tangible this life is. For us, through us, as us, in us. How tangible love is. In us, as us, through us, for us, by us. The good news is, and there's lots of that, the good news is that it's easier than we think. Just because it's different from the habit that we have practiced up until now doesn't mean that it has to be hard. It can actually be fun. It can be fun to just take one step at a time. And then decide where the next step will be. It can be fun to just allow that incandescence to show us the next few feet ahead and for us to stop and explore. Whoa. And then decide. All of that is available to us. in every single moment. All of that is available in every single moment. Your homework, because of course you knew there would be some, for the next week is to see how good a job you can do at slowing down. Oh boy, you should see the looks I'm seeing. I'm seeing this, I'm seeing this. Wow. It's all right. It's just an experiment. It's just for a week. Everyone will live. Everything really magically will get done to your satisfaction. Just try the experiment. Try the experiment of feeling the moment. And letting its inner wisdom guide you to the next. It's good. It's really good. And so it is.
And so it is.
As Joseph is coming up to offer us his second piece, I welcome the company of Yvette Trujillo.
Uh-oh.
Am I in trouble already?
So I am so delighted that Belinda stole my thunder
Sorry.
and jumped into the announcement that these two incredible women are joining the Everyday Center. And this incredible woman is a ministerial student, if you didn't know, and only 3 classes away from being complete. And we welcome her to the, what we call unofficially, the prayer posse, the practitioner corps.
Yes. The title of this song is called All Life is Flowing. Everything comes, everything goes. All life is flowing. This truth the heart knows. The mind does its thinking and making its plans. A wonderful story written in sand. And what about love? This love we all feel, this love that is pulsing, that we all know is real, this love in our heart, this this love from the source. As our minds settle, this love will grow. Letting go of our clinging, that comes from our fear. All life is flowing, sometimes that's clear. The truth isn't hiding, it rests in our hearts. All life is flowing, in this we take part. Yes, there is love, love that we feel, love that is pulsing, love that is real. This love in our heart, this love from the source. As our minds settle, this love will grow. As our minds settle, this love will grow. As our minds settle, this love will grow. This love will grow.